Hey everyone, I'm just doing a quick presentation on how to mount a Windows drive from a live Unix or Linux CD. We're going to be using Ubuntu, for example, Ubuntu 24.04, and I'll just go through the utilities that you need to do it, as well as the demonstration on how I'll be mounting that Windows device. I'll be using a VM in my aspect of things on a Linux box, but the procedure will be very similar on a Windows box. So the first thing you'd want to do is you need to download a few utilities. The first one is Balinetcher. So this utility here, so you can go to Google. Let me Google that for you, as we say. Look for Balinetcher. Balinetcher. If I can spell properly. Download Balinetcher here. Download Etcher. We want to download the one for your platform. And then once it's downloaded, you then want to download Ubuntu 24.04, which you can then Google for Ubuntu 24.04. You'll get to a site like this. Click on, look for downloads. See the downloads here. Go on desktop. From here, you click on download 24.04, and then you click on, it will download your Ubuntu 24 ISO. Once you do that, you then want to flash the device. So you would need to, I've already did an example flash, but you see at the end, you would see something like this, but you do flash another. So you flash the device, you select your Ubuntu, firmware. I have an example of 22.04, but the same thing would be done on a 24.04 image. Locate your Ubuntu image, which is mine's right here. Then I select the target. You look for your USB stick here. Make sure there's nothing on this USB stick. You don't want anything on it because it's going to be erased. Everything's going to be cleared, and you won't be able to get your data back. So you can use that. You need at least a 16 gigabyte USB stick. I'm going to choose a 62 gigabyte USB stick. I'm going to select and click on flash. Put in my administrator password, and there we're flashing. We're good to go. After that, you're going to want to um, boot up your machine. So the first thing you need to do is boot up into your BIOS, and there's a few ways you can do that. Well, there's a couple options you need to do. You need to learn how to boot into your BIOS using USB. So you would want to plug the USB stick into your computer. Some common keys are F8, delete while it's booting up, and you should see on your BIOS they press delete or F8 to boot up. So common keys are escape while the computer is booting up, F8 or delete. Once you get into the BIOS, you want to select the boot menu to boot into the USB stick. Sometimes it boots up the USB stick automatically, so try that first. Try just putting the USB stick in, booting your computer up, see if it boots into the USB stick. If it doesn't, you're going to need to go to the BIOS to boot up the USB stick. So I've got a virtual machine here. That's an example. And I'm going to click on run. Again, you'll need to do this in your BIOS. So um, that means so by default, usually computers will let you boot up into the USB stick. So I just want to repeat myself again that try plugging the USB stick into your computer first. See if you get this screen. You should get this screen when you plug into your USB and boot your computer up fresh. If you don't get the screen, you're going to have to go into your boot BIOS by using delete, either one of the keys, delete, escape, F12, F8, one of those keys. Once you get into the BIOS, you can change the boot order for the BIOS. So I'm doing an example here on what here. So my example drive will be an NVM drive or a an SSD drive. There's different interfaces you can have. You can have an NVMe. You can have a SATA drive. You can have a USB drive, but usually you're looking at a SATA or a NVMe drive. Now, when this gets booted up, I will show you what what you're going to be looking for. So this is my USB drive, and it's preparing Ubuntu, but we don't care about this too much. We're going to be skipping the installation part, and we're going to be going into the mounting of the USB drive. Now, if you have a USB drive, it'll be a little bit different. It might be SDA, it might be SDB. You're looking for a particular drive. Mine's going to be called NVMe because my drive is internal on the host. So I click on English here. Um, Actually, we were going to skip out of this. We're going to click, just close this window here, and we're going to start typing. We're going to look for the terminal. Press Control F and type TER. Oh, hold a second. Sorry, it's not Control F. So the thing what you want to do is you want to go here, right? And click on this. Click on Terminal, and then you're in the terminal window here. So the terminal window allows you to run a variety of things. You want to go to the root user, so you type sudo -i. Now here's the root user. Create a folder where you want to mount your folder, your Windows drive. So I'm going to call it Windows Media, make your media Windows. And then usually Ubuntu auto detect this drive if it's already formatted with something. So if I type fthis-l, so you want to do this too, type fthis-l, you'll see a bunch of devices here. But the device we're looking for is Windows partition. So what you can do is you fthis. There's a few ways you can find this device. Usually it's mounted as Windows. So you fthis and then -l and grep Windows, grep -i Windows, and then you're gonna see a partition here that is but it's not the right. This isn't the right partition here because this is the Windows recovery environment. So that's not the partition we're looking for. Let's look for a different one. So let's look for let's do an fthis-l and pipe that into more. So you see we have a bunch of loop partitions. Now right here, you'll see I have four partitions on this device here. And I'm like, let's just say I couldn't access this device on my Windows partition. And it got wrecked or something like that. Something happened on the Windows boot where you wouldn't able to access it. So now you can access it through Linux by mounting this device on Linux. And the device that you're probably looking for is the 475 gigabyte one because that's the one with the data. So if I quit out of this and I type mount dev, this this whole string here, and I type media fat or media Windows, sorry, it will automatically mount that device. So now that's the device is mounted, I can go to media Windows. I can now have access to all my files. And from here, you can recover your files, put a USB stick in there, back them up, maybe do some modification to the files. If maybe you can do a recovery on the files, that will get your Windows system back up and running. But at least you can get your hard drive back or like your data back by copying onto an external drive or whatnot like that. So that's my quick demonstration on how to mount the Media Windows device. If you have any questions, let me know and have a great day.